Hi guys, how are you doing today? Today's video is titled, The Meeting is Inside the Appointment. Trust God. The meeting is inside the appointment. Trust God. Sometimes we lose sight of the reason that we have a hard season, a season of delay. We don't know if we're actually standing before an appointment that God has already scheduled for us. Sometimes we feel like waiting is, our waiting is uncertain. But I'm here to tell you that whatever God has proclaimed for you, whatever appointment God has set, and you're waiting on it, no one can remove what God has spoken for your destiny. See, let me explain to you a little bit of the difference between a waiting and an appointment. See, an appointment, it says to you, your time is coming. And sometimes what we call delay is actually divine positioning. God may be preparing you, maybe awaiting for you to enter into a place of opportunity, or even for you to have a spiritual encounter that may connect you directly to what you've been praying for. That's an appointment. Waiting has an uncertainty. You may be waiting, but you don't know what you're waiting for. You don't know when it will come about. You don't know the direction. Waiting is not an exact appointed time. Waiting can happen at any time. So that's why I say the meeting is inside the appointment. Let's think about Habakkuk. He questioned God because he was waiting. And he was wondering, how long could it be before God would move on his behalf? But this is what God told him. In Habakkuk 2:3, he says, though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. See, Habakkuk, he thought that he was waiting for an answer. But God was preparing an appointed moment. And that is actually the lesson behind this video. You may be waiting for something, but God is probably preparing an appointed moment, an appointed encounter. See, your waiting season doesn't mean that God is absent in your situation. Some of us mistaken the silence for God's absence, or the silence for the absence of our answered breakthrough. Don't mistaken your delay for denial. And I don't want you to assume that because you can't see movement in your situation, God isn't positioning the right pieces. He's moving around everything. He's getting everything aligned exactly how it should be. You don't know the next person that you may encounter into the building that you enter. You don't know that next phone call, what it may mean to your situation. You don't know. You just have to trust and believe in God. See, your appointment may involve a person you haven't even met yet, a door that you haven't moved at yet, or a moment where everything suddenly makes sense. These are what appointments that God is directing may look like. Don't have it all figured out. Don't paint a picture of what you want it to be. Allow God to move the pieces of your life. Allow God to structure and put the right people in your way. Continue believing and continue trusting and praying to Him. Now, today I had a little encounter where I was kind of blocked from going to service to have an intimate time with God. But I'm saying that maybe God allowed it. Maybe I'm supposed to go another time. Maybe I was supposed to not step outside. Maybe I was supposed to be redirected somewhere. So sometimes delay can mean that God is redirecting us. Now, I'm not saying that the the evil one doesn't have hands in what happened with the disturbance of trying to stop me to go to service, but I'm looking at the positive side. See, this is how life is. In the moments of when things go wrong, if you look in the light of God, you have another perspective. It's not that you're lying to yourself or you're trying to evade what's really happening, but you keep a positive aspect because a positive outlook. God sees everything that's happening. See, while you're waiting, God is preparing. God is changing your faith. He's increasing your strength, your resilience. That's why you're called to guard your heart. You can't allow bitterness and angriness to enter into it. That is going to disturb your connection with God and how God speaks to you. That's why you got to keep praying, keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting, keep connecting with His word. Because when God decides that your appointed moment has arrived, you won't miss that meeting. You won't have anything to worry about. You know, the enemy has strategies. And the enemy is very the enemy has strategies. And you also too have to connect to God, and you got to have a strategy of your life. How are you going to maneuver around what the enemy is doing while they're coming against you? See, what you've been waiting for may already be connected to where God is taking you. You're not just waiting for something. You're waiting for an appointed meeting. You're waiting for an opportunity. You're waiting for God to say, move. And when God says move, or when God has scheduled it, no delay, no person, no circumstances, no opposition, no obstacles, or whatever the enemy is trying, they can't cancel what God has ordained for you. See, you have to believe and trust that God has a greater plans for your life. And you can't allow what the enemy is doing to take over what your true heart's desire is. Now, their job is to derail you. Their job is to manipulate your thoughts. Their job is to shake you. Their job is to make you upset. Their job is to bring about noise, to disturb you. You may be in a moment in your life right now where you're moving from place to place and they're following you from place to place. That's just a way to discourage you. That's just a way to exhaust you. But if you truly, truly know who your Father is, that He's faithful, you know His sovereignty, you know who He is, and you know who He says you are, trust and believe that God is going to make a way for you, even though that they may try to derail you. Now, I'm saying to you, your appointed time, it's on its way. Your breakthrough, it's on its way. God is moving the right pieces, putting the right people in order, and He's aligning the right situation in your life. He's directing you, putting you in the path to meet the right people. Your appointed time, even though it lingers, but it won't delay. Now, this is not just a message. This is a declaration of faith. We refuse fear and we stand firmly on Jesus Christ. And we believe that God's timing is never accidental. So when faith speaks, I want you to trust that heaven will move on your behalf. Your divine appointment is on its way. Just as Habakkuk was waiting, you are waiting, and just as he received his divine appointment, so shall you receive what God has planned for your life. I love you with the love of Christ, and I pray to see you on the next message.